All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Comics Asylum Live. And we are here with Jerome Gagnon and Travis Gibb from Summit Comics. We're going to be taking a deep dive into their new endeavor, which is, I would say, a pretty impressive move, especially looking at what they've been able to accomplish in a few scant moments on their Kickstarter, as well as doing what I think a lot of people would love to do, and that's start their own comic book universe. So before we get rolling, Jerome, Travis, how are you?
Pretty good.
I am well as well. I like that. Clearly, you're from Canada because you could say his last name. Me, who's worked with him for years, has no. I just said Gagnon. I don't know this other shenanigans he's talking about.
Well, two official languages, so it's best to be half decent and proficient in at least one of them. I'm working on my English, and French is slightly behind, so it's always good. And Jerome, he doesn't treat me too harshly when I'm bad in French, so it's all good.
Yeah, no, you're doing well. You're doing well.
Yeah, I appreciate that for sure. So, gentlemen, first of all, congratulations on Summit Comics, smashing success. A lot of buzz going into it, and before we get too deep into the Kickstarter and everything that's going on with it, how does it feel to, after all of the buildup, finally get it to the point where it's out in the public and is so well received?
Well, it feels great. I mean, we were trying, we were working so hard on these products for the past months. They started. Well, the discussion about it started on Discord, and before I was involved, and we started working on these characters, developing them, and posting about them. But while we're doing that, we were obviously working on the stories, and finally get to that point to where we're able to release it. Yeah, it feels great.
Excellent. And Travis.
Oh, I have to answer too.
Yeah, sure, why not?
This is exhausting. I thought I was just going to be here to look pretty for Jerome, so this is not going the way I planned. No, of course it's super exciting. It's such a new thing, right? Jerome and I, run Orange Cone. Basically, him, myself, and my wife run Orange Cone, and it's all three of us just doing everything. And it's so crazy to have 20, 30 other creators who are doing stuff. Like even when we have our normal anthologies, like Cthulhu, we have, of course, people sharing and doing all that, but we have Brian Wolf, who's every day creating graphics and sharing them out. We have and making them, not just me going, hey Jerome, can you make this graphic? Other people are doing it. People are, hey, we need a cover real quick, a mock cover. Can we do it? And we have different people taking these responsibilities and doing them. So it's so great to do that. Even like the articles that we're getting with CBR and all that, someone went out and got those, and those are skill sets that Jerome and I don't have, that we were allowed to lean on everybody, and it just shows how great everyone who's towards the same goal can accomplish. So yeah, this is a great feeling. I'm so happy to be doing it.
And what was it that spurred you on to? Because I know you've done some great work with Orange Cone. And when did you found Orange Cone? How
Orange Cone was founded in 2017. So next year is
Right.
our 10-year anniversary, which is crazy.
So 10 years in the gig, which is fantastic. And so what was it?
I mean, it's crazy, right?
Jerome just found out, and he is very upset.
Well, funny thing is, it's been about like 6 years that I say, oh, we Travis and I, we've been doing books together for the past 5 years. So, and suddenly I have to move from 5 to 10.
Well, you know what they say, right? Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so what was it where it was like you got to that point? You've done several amazing Kickstarters. The anthologies are amazing, a great collection of talent. And really, an anthology, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is no different than being almost like a mini publisher, because you're getting together a bunch of talent from disparate sections of the creative sphere, and you're putting together short stories, to fit into this one volume, having several books on the out separately, which you would do with Orange Cone. Where was it where you're like, we're gonna do Summit, we're gonna do and then launch Pinnacle?
Yeah, so over the years, this isn't exactly the question, but it answers the question. So bear with me for a second. Over the years, people have come to me and Jerome and have asked us to be part of other things, right? Other companies, publishers. Hey, let's meld. Let's do this, and none of them made sense to me, right? Because anything we can accomplish on our own, like there's no reason to partner with somebody, you know, unless they can level us up. You know, we partnered with Scout Comics, we partnered with Band of Bards, you know, to get our books into a new thing. And just recently we signed a contract with Source Point Press. So those ones make sense to us because they're kind of bringing us into a different direction. But what we can't do, Jerome, I, and make superheroes level up. There's tons of people, and they're struggling on various levels. I say struggling like kindly. They don't make a lot of money compared to other things, right? A not safe for work book, or a good horror story, or a good like grunge punk rock book like a Grand Theft Punk. They tend to sit at the low like 3 to 5 range of a Kickstarter, which is fine. But knowing that superheroes are what people buy the most, that doesn't make sense to me, right? When I went to the comic store today, I bought 90% superhero books, right? Like I bought one, you know, very few independent. So there's an audience for it. So how do we get into that? So when a couple of people were talking about, hey, let's put our superheroes together, that made sense to me. Let's kind of combine that. And I've seen, as I've watched this over the years, what people have made mistakes on. People get so excited about superheroes. And what they want to do is, Steve, let's say you had a superhero and I had a superhero. They want to cross over as quickly as possible. And they're not doing the work of creating the stories and doing all that. Well, that's something Orange Cone is good at. That's something that some of our fellow Summit people are really good at. So let's have a new philosophy of let's make these things matter. Let's do it like it's supposed to be done and not rush to get to the finish line. So that's what we did. And we spent the time of creating these universes, creating what it is. We have 3 years of events planned out. We have about 50 launches, I would say, about 50 books planned. Like this isn't a small thing. It's a big catalyst event. And it's something that I don't think we could do on our own. I think we need a whole bunch of people who are into the superhero genre to all commit to putting out something new and building it on the Kickstarter platform.
And that's amazing. And what was the thought process behind what kind of stories you wanted to tell? Like what kind of superhero stories you want to tell? Because obviously Marvel and DC dominate the landscape. Image has their corner of the market, but then there's also manga, which even Jim Lee has acknowledged is a huge elephant in the room. So what was it about what you guys were doing where it's like, okay, we know this is the direction we want to go in, and these are the kind of stories we want to tell?
Believe it or not, this may sound weird, but wasn't our big focus. Our big focus was, hey, how can we partner with each other and tell our own stories in our own world, but connect a little bit and play and have some of that superhero fun, but be able to keep our own identity, right? So Upheaval, our character, the Jerome and I, that is an Orange Cone comic. It is 100% Orange Cone. It'll have the Summit logo and Summit branding, but it's an Orange Cone. So taking the Image idea and melding that with it. And then what we did as a whole, as a company, said, hey, how do we put everyone together for these certain events, and how do we make them special and make it different, right? Steve, we've talked in times past, but what's your favorite massive crossover?
Oh gosh, maybe the first Secret Wars.
Okay, the first Secret Wars. So did you read it when it came out? You're not old enough to read it when it came out. You just read it later.
Yeah, I was old enough to buy them as they were coming out.
Wow.
I'm a great.
Believe it or not, he's older than us.
That's crazy. I read it as a child. I didn't buy it when it came out, but one of my parents' friends had it, so I read it as a child. I didn't understand it because I was a child, but I read it. So let's take Secret Wars for example. Like all these. Well, Secret Wars is the worst one you can pick, Steve.
I'll pick another one.
Not because it's perfect, just because there was no expectations.
Right.
So you check any of the newer ones, like you know what it's going to look like. You know what issue 6 is going to look like.
Yeah.
It's building to the thing. Like we kind of have it, and most people go, I loved it except for the ending. When it gets to the ending, it's bad. So
yeah,
that's what most people say, right? Like they love the beginning. They love the beginning. They
all the time.
Right.
It's hard to end them. They don't end well.
So to try to help that and try to get these things taken care of, we built a new model. So a more modern model, taking some of the manga influence, taking some of the more modern stuff and Kickstarter. So our model is these big books like Pinnacle. So that's going to be our crossovers for the year. We're going to put it in one book. So you can't say the ending was bad because you judge it as a whole, right? At the same time. Because some of those things aren't even bad when you reread them later. It's bad because you waited 9 months for the last one. Right? You got the first 4, and then the last 3 took forever to come out because someone missed deadlines.
So
and
true.
The thing is about the summit is beside, if you take apart the annual event that is Pinnacle, most of these books would have come out eventually anyways. So they were in the works. Like Upheaval was already started. Granite there's already one issue done. Noir, the same thing. And the other creators add IDs for other characters that they wanted to put it out in the world. So they were inevitable. So, but Pinnacle serves as a way to merge all of them together in a sense.
Okay, excellent. And so what kind of conversations did you have with other creators in terms of what the expectations would be being under the Summit banner?
Yeah. So that's the hardest part, right? So there's a couple of things, when we first started it, we spent a little bit of time inventing comics for Summit because we had some comics. We had Noir, Granite, and Upheaval. Those are comics that were already in it. We invited Marcus Gemmis. We actually assumed that Marcus was going to bring a lot of his superheroes. He's got a lot from his Dauntless thing, but he was like, no, I want to start fresh with you guys. And he really got the ball rolling to get some of these great creators who wanted to be involved to create new things. And then what I did as a publisher and as a creator, figured out a way to make everybody involved, right? So Orange Cone can do it by itself, just like Jerome said. A lot of these books can come out by themselves. But some of the people who joined us because they came from the Discord don't have that. They don't have the experience. If they did a superhero book, it would probably fail or raise like $2,000. All right, so what do we do with those people? Well, we created 2 funnels. So one is like Upheaval. When it launches, it'll be on the platform of Orange Cone. We'll run it, use all our branding. We'll do all our stuff. The insides will be, it'll be branded as Summit, but it'll be on the Kickstarter Orange Cone platform. Then the other one is on the Summit page. We're going to run Kickstarters that are kind of like 2-in-1s, 3-in-1s, so people can tell their stories in using our expertise and our backers to help them grow. So it's kind of a 2 platform. It's used to help everybody, and not just I say new creators, but it could also be someone who does too many Kickstarters. Let's say Orange Cone, man, we have 1 per month. I don't know where to put Upheaval. Well, I can now run it on the Summit platform. The Summit can do it. So it allows us a lot of option, a lot of flexibility as creators to do stuff. So those are the rules that we kind of came out and put together to try to make sure that we could all do something new and unique, kind of a hybrid image model, an image model that had Kickstarter in mind.
Right. And I'm just now posting the Summit page on screen, and the artwork is fantastic. And so this is your landing page as well too.
No, that's the website.
So this is the website itself.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. That's our current website. I can give you the link to the Kickstarter, but
no, I already have it. I'm gonna share that later. Yeah, and congrats on that too, because it's blazing. I think it's over 100% already, and you've got like 28 days to go.
Yeah. But so what you got on the website over there, we have we had a small store, so we could get some money up front to help us kick off the Pinnacle book and order some covers and stuff like that. So the sneak peek help us to sell some previews of the book, and like T-shirts and stuff like that. It's just money that help us build the Pinnacle book to help us start the company.
And Jerome, you're doing a good job repping the merch already. So congrats on that. Nice.
I'm repping Summit, but this is my own shirt. I own this character. I can make my own shirts.
There you go.
Nice. Going back a little bit on what Travis was saying, another plus, if you will, for being able to do Kickstarter campaigns through Summit and Orange Cone is that we can multiply books at the same time, because we can run some books like Pinnacle on Kickstarter right now, but meanwhile Upheaval's pre-launch page on Kickstarter is also active on the Orange Cone platform, as well as Granite is active as well on CJ Hudson's platform. So we have multiple books that can go live at any moment if we want to.
And so essentially what you're doing, if I'm kind of almost reading this right, it's almost like you're creating your own ecosystem, which allows all the different creators and their fan bases to kind of combine together. And it's almost like you're doing like group marketing and group publishing.
Yeah, absolutely. And we help each other, right? So on the Granite campaign, there'll be some Upheaval digitals, so he can them, and I won't ask for any money from that. He will sell those himself. And then when I do ours, I'll have some Granite because it's all connected to Summit Universe. And that allows us all to grow. The biggest downfall for a new creator versus an existing creator like us is backlog, right? The reason why Orange Cone does what it does, we have a huge backlog of catalog of people who may want to try something else for us. This allows that edge to happen and allows us to be able to build those things together.
Yeah, fantastic. And so assembling the creatives, what was the outreach like, if I can ask?
We don't tell.
That's you first. I'm not part of those discussions. I wasn't part of them.
No, it was really like, it sounds horrible, but it started with their Discord. We invited a couple of people who were superheroes, and then we added some people who we thought were good creators. And then we wanted to make sure we had some minorities and some females. So like we wanted to make sure we had a diverse class, right? The negative comics, and this is coming from a white guy. It's a lot of white old guys, myself included. But this is what I want to do. I can't help it, right? Can't help it. It's just how I was born. But we wanted to make sure that we opened that up and made sure that we had a diverse cast of characters. And even one of the my favorite stories about Summit is our main character is called Juna. And Juna is a black woman, and she's our Superman. She's our main character. Adam Barnhart created her with Marcus Gemis, and it's a Summit-owned character. It's the only one that's owned by Summit, not by any existing creator. We made sure we hired a black woman writer to write it because we knew that it's not the right person to write it. We of course, Adam did a story, it's his character, but when we started to like, this is going to be a series, it's going to be a main thing, we reached out to someone who would be fit to tell those stories. So, and what's great about it is we have all these creators who can help out and can listen talent. So we have the resources to do that, which is really nice,
Right. That's a a really good idea. And the one thing you want to kind of do when you're kind of going into this is make all the right steps. Like the one thing you don't want to do is make a misstep, because then that takes away from all the goodwill that you're doing, right? And it sounds like you guys have a really smart plan in place. And I'm just here pulling up the about section on your site, and I'm assuming the character that you're talking about is the one that is front and center.
Correct. Yeah, that's Juna. Yep.
Excellent. And we're going to dive into, if you can just, who did the artwork for this one? for this?
For that one, that's Benjamin Morrison.
Yep. Morse.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna dig into the preview because it's pretty nice. And then
Well, can we talk about Juna for a minute, because we don't give a lot of details, and we're revealing it in podcast, because I want to tell you,
absolutely.
Juna is one of the coolest characters in the world, Steve. Juna was created literally to solve problems. Again, you talked about how we thought ahead. Juna is a character that. Are you an X-Men fan?
Yes.
Okay.
Not huge, but I like him. I like him a lot.
But most recently, the Jonathan Hickman run.
Yeah, and I actually was reading Gail Simone's run as well too.
Okay, cool. So we have Moira McTaggart. She kind of resets. We found that. So we thought that was a great idea for a universe, right? Have someone who can reset. So Juna, when she dies, resets the universe, much like Moira McTaggart. It's different, the origins of why it happens and stuff, but it's a good idea. But here is why we use that. Oh my God, you're ripping off Hickman. Well, he's really talented, of course. But what we're doing with it and why it's important to us is now we have a character who can add people to the universe and remove. So, Steve, let's you have a superhero universe that you want to merge into Summit Comics. We have now a character that has that ability. That's their superpower. Mm-hmm. Oh, Steve, you're unhappy with Jerome because he's very rude. And I understand Jerome is very rude and you don't want to work with him anymore. We have a character that can exit your character without hurting the continuity, right? We've all seen I can't reprint Angela issues for Spawn or Cerberus. So we built something mechanic in our continuity to be able to do that. I just think that's great, and what makes this character that's not even her main origin. That's just her power.
Oh wow, cool! That's kind of nice. It's almost like you have a built-in failsafe.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to continuity or whatever, that's a reverse Uno card, I guess, almost.
Right. If we need to do our crisis event, guess who we got?
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. And so, may I ask who the creator or who's going to be writing that character? Do you have the creator?
Yeah, her name's Carla. I say her name right. It's Medina's, yeah, or Medine.
Okay,
cool. I may not saying her name right. I apologize. But.
All right, sounds great. And if you don't mind, I'm going to dive into the preview issue that you guys have.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let me see. Is it this one? No. Let me see. Let's see if I can find it. There we go.
There it is.
So there it is, and this is. Available on your store as well too. And before we get into this, where will people be able to pick up books? Are you going to have, obviously through the Kickstarter and then online, is there any plan to get them into comic stores?
100%, but we want to make sure everything comes out on time. So when we have a complete something, we will send it out. So if Upheaval's a 4-issue mini, that'll come out when all 4 issues are done, because comic stores are used to getting a monthly book. So we don't want to do that. We want to make sure we don't want them to bend to our will. We need to bend to their will. You know?
No, makes total sense. All right, so let's take a look.
Who did the cover art for this one, Travis? I don't remember.
That is Jody Perez, Firefly artist over at Boom Studios.
Cool. So these are the titles that are in your sneak peek. And the colorist is Alexandra Starling. So we have Erebra, we have Golden Sun, Granite, Upheaval, and Vesper. And so by my looking at it, you've got a nice mix of different genres of superhero stories. So anyone who's going in looking for something, it's almost like a boutique superhero book in a way.
Yeah. And those are in the preview, they are completed stories. They're full stories. So, and these are it's really a sneak peek of Pinnacle, because those will be included in Pinnacle as well.
Okay, great. So let's take a look at some of the books here. So this is
Erebra.
Yeah, so this is Erebra. Creative team: Adam Bernhardt, Nicolas Santos, Katia Fantini, and Cam Kirkhow. So that's the editor. So you have full teams, and so it looks like, at least for these three, Cam is the editor of two of them, and there is some crossover with some of the stuff, because I see Jerome, you're their superstar letterer. For letterers who don't get enough love, Jerome is, he wears the cape for letterers.
Yeah, if you say so.
They're probably like they're the unsung heroes of books, because if not, it's just a picture book. All right, so here's Erebus. So what can you tell us about this title as I flip through the images?
Yeah, so Erebus is she's a Greek goddess, or connected to a Greek goddess. It's kind of our supernatural line. It's actually like kind of more of a horror, kind of like in the Ghost Rider vibes. What would it be? So she's a really cool character who's sent out by a god to accomplish a task that we don't want to give too much detail away, but that is her mission. And she is one of the main characters. She's going to have her own title later on in the year, which is really cool. She'll have her own ongoing series over at Meltdown Comics with Adam Barnhart.
Very cool. Very cool. And then the next book is
Golden Sun.
Golden Sun.
Yeah, Golden Sun is also in that kind of vein, except for this is more of like a kind of a Thor-ish. A god was Helios, the god of fire, gave someone powers, and this is the Golden Sun is that character. So it's very mythology inspired superhero book.
Right. And it seems like the power scale is going to be pretty massive. So you're going to be able to get some explosive storytelling and filled with action.
Yeah. And that's what's great. Like you said about this preview, like we're showing you right now kind of the top of the power scale, and it's going to go down as we go.
Right.
That was what the comment from Brian. That was Carla's name, the writer for Juno.
Right.
Carla Medrano.
And then this one made me kind of laugh. This was a funny concept.
This is Granite. Granite is kind of a She-Hulk, kind of like superhero, like Hollywood celeb. But she's just a regular woman just trying to figure out her life, but also is a superhero. What's interesting about this particular story is it doesn't show her being much heroic, just kind of her regular life, and kind of gives you a little intro that there's villains, some stuff, but that's a story you're going to get. So if you like old She-Hulk, John Byrne's She-Hulk, is kind of what you're going to get.
She's a party girl and social media celebrity as well. But the funny thing is that we know her with her power, and CJ decided that for his first story arc, the first story arc is called Powerless. So she loses her power in the first story arc. So instead of gaining her power and dealing with that, he goes in reverse.
And what's cool about Granite as well, on the Kickstarter, you can buy the first issue of Granite, which is double sided. So even if you've bought it before, there's literally 20 extra pages in it, which is wild.
Very cool. And so this one, I guess you're able to have a little bit of tongue in cheek with celebrity, the superhero tropes, and all of that as well too.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello, Lawrence. How are you?
He's a colorist for one of our stories, and
oh, that's true.
Nice. And I love.
Yeah, we hired him specifically so on a cover it could say Jerome and Gagnon, like because you only put the last name.
That's my full name, full glory for.
We're looking for now a Travis to go with me. So anyone with the last name Travis.
Excellent. And this is Upheaval?
Yeah, Upheaval. This is my book. This is Upheaval. We have her investigating NASA. This is tied into the big plot of the story. So some of the villains that appear here are connected to everything. As well, it's a big reveal for our story. We didn't show the father off in the first issue, and the first appearance of the father is right here. Which is pretty cool.
Nice.
We got some monsters. Brian's really. I think everybody that page is so good.
Yeah, that is a great shot, falling out of the window.
And look at Jerome's lettering. Crash.
I needed to add something in that one. Otherwise, I need to represent me.
It's true. One of my worst qualities as a writer is writing sound effects. Jerome has to do a lot of heavy lifting on that.
I know, Lewis.
Hi,
So,
Lewis.
how much involvement do you have in terms of? I don't want to use the word like quality control, but just like making sure that things are consistent between each book in terms of not necessarily tone, but what you want for the overall publication.
So we have that breaks down into two different fields. So we have an editing team that kind of keeps continuity, make sure the editing's work, make sure we don't say anything too offensive. We do have like granted, the story before was a mature title. We're more of team, so that's part of it. And then we have an art director who will say what's acceptable. But again, those things vary depending on what you're looking at, what you're doing. So.
But there is a fair degree of freedom, so creators can kind of, because I always find it's easier to kind of rein someone in to then pull stuff out of them. Creators have a pretty much free reign when it comes to what they want to do as stories, as long as it fits within the universe.
Correct. Yeah. You obviously you couldn't destroy Detroit without asking us or whatever. But as long as you're doing typical superhero stories and your little part, and like. Kind of more like DC, it's not they don't all take place in New York, right? They're all over the place. So everybody has their kind of little territory. And then we go from there to make sure everything's good.
And some are in actual cities and some are in made up cities as well. So it's not we're not keeping it real on the map scale.
Right. And then we're going to go to Vesper. Which is kind of like spy and espionage.
Yeah, like it's a kind of a like Shield Captain America kind of thing,
right?
But a very cool design. Vesper has a very one of the best designs in the thing. That's a cool looking character.
Yeah.
You put that as a hero or a villain in any series, and you're gonna go somewhere. But the concept here is it's kind of a superhero soldier project, but it kind of deals with the repercussions of it, like the real repercussions, not just Daniel. That's my creation.
Yeah.
Kind of kind of the negative effects of it, and giving it to someone so young, and what that means and what that looks like. So, kind of taking it from a different angle, but very aggressive and it's a lot of fun. I honestly think he's one of the better designed characters that we have in our portfolio.
Yeah, it looks like fun. He'd make a great toy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you want him for your G.I. Joe collection, right?
Yeah, most def.
Yeah, and Daniel has been very productive as well. He wrote. I think he has the full first story arc completely done. I think he has one issue drawn. But the full story is done for the first arc, so he knows where he's going with that.
Very cool. And this is another interpretation of Juno, correct?
Yeah, Juno. Yeah, that's Juno's. That's the design. That's Marcus Jimis version of it. Yeah.
Oh, it looks like we got some. We're getting some tea spilt already. Daniel says little behind the scenes info. That wasn't the original design for Vesper.
Okay.
Cool. So I'm going to give you guys the floor here. What is it about Pinnacle and Summit that, in your opinion, makes you stand out from what's already on the stands right now?
You want to go first, Drew?
Nope.
All right.
No. I can. I think we're coming into this world with a lot of art. We're passionate about it, and I think it shows through the stories that we're telling. There are many things and many stories that have been said, but I think we have very talented creators, and they came up with very different twists on different tropes because well, it all starts from that usually, but yeah, different twists that they brought to in creating their own characters, and they will find, even though some people think that everything has been said through in superhero hero comics, I think they will find that they were mistaken, and we have some stories worth reading.
Very cool.
So for me, um, no continuity problems. You get on the ground level. You don't have that years of continuity. You don't have that stuff. I mean, let's be honest. All three of us will have less friends and live less than Peter Parker, right? He has more friends than us. They may be fictional, but they are all going to outlive us. And he'll have more stories told about us than we do in our real lives. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, that's true.
So you don't have any of that. The other thing that I think is really important is a lot of us are experienced Kickstarter people, and a lot of our experienced indie comic creators, and we're getting up there in age, and we don't think, and not to be negative or pessimistic, but we're like, probably not going to get that Batman story that I want to tell. I'm probably not going to get that Spider-Man story. So we get to tell our stories in our own way here. And we're not trying to make Batman clones or any of the clones. We're trying to tell our own story in our own universe and have fun with it and be able to tell the stories that inspired us in a new, fresh way to new, fresh people. You know, much like you said, Jim Lee, the manga influence can't be ignored. The reason why manga influences stuff, part of it's new characters that haven't been seen a whole bunch of times before. You know, I'm never going to stop reading Spider-Man, but I can't get mad when someone goes, I'm done with Spider-Man. Can I have somebody new? You know, kids grow out of Harry Potter and they go to Star Wars, or they go whatever. That's majority of people. Not everyone is loyal. Like, I'm loyal, unlike those fools. I'm Spider-Man till I die, but other people aren't. And I think that we're giving that alternative, that fresh alternative. I think we got something to say, and I think we're going to say it better than the competition.
And do you find that there's a freedom with being an indie that you might not get otherwise?
Absolutely.
Yeah, the freedom of creativity and what you can do and can't do and who's going to say it. And, you don't have to. I mean, Marvel's not what it used to be, right? DC's not what they used to be now that we have these studios involved, right? You know, our characters are what's on the screen, you know? It's not what's best for the story. It's these characters need to stay relevant right now. Shocking. There's a Wonder Man comic coming out next week. Oh my God. Why? You know, these things are affecting, and I won't even say always for the bad. Sometimes it's been good to see these characters, you know, but you're not going to have that. And so it's very freeing to allow us to tell these stories in our own way.
Yeah, this is J-Man. I stream with Jay and Decepticon. And he says, "Hey guys, I'll catch the replay on this, but just wanted to hit the like button. Be cool, Spider-Man. Who's that? Never heard of him."
You should check him out. He's good. I enjoy him.
Yes, potential.
Yeah. He
the older stuff is better than the newer stuff, but you know that's fine.
So true, and it's kind of interesting because one of the things that I like about anime and manga is that they can be true to the characters but take risks, right? But they also then respect what that world is, where like when something, maybe it's because you don't have years of continuity to fight through,
right,
or interpretations of a character, because I think that's also huge too, right? So like Simon Williams, anyone being introduced to Simon Williams now, Wonder Man, that's not going to be the Simon Williams that you may have read in the 2000s, or for sure in the 70s or 80s, right? When he started out as a villain. So one of the things I like about anime and manga is like they go for it, but the characters are they are who they are, and they take risks. They go through their trials, but not one point do you go, I can't believe they had that person do that, right? Where it almost seems like the character portrayal is a betrayal of what you're used to. And is that something that you're going to be with Summit kind of stressing, where it's like balls to the wall storytelling, but keep the sauce that makes the characters what they are, keep that consistent.
Yeah, and it's tough, right? Like even people like look at Valiant, right? They're rebooting, they're owned by somebody new every year, and trying to figure out what that is, what makes them special, so it's a hard undertaking what you're asking, because we've seen other people do it, but yeah, that's some of the freshness that we want to get to. We want to be able to do things and say things in a different way. We want things to have consequences, we haven't got to the point where we've had to kill any characters yet, but I'd like dead to be dead, things
Mm-hmm.
like that should matter, trying to figure out what those things mean. And you can always break those rules, right? Dead can be dead until it doesn't need to be. But again, that makes it special too. Right. Oh, they said dead is dead. Oh, they broke that rule. Cool. They broke the rule that one time. Trying to figure out that balance of everything. But the stories that we're coming out with are very modern and talk about it. Like my character's a girl is tech. To have protect her identity, it's not a mask like everything else that we've done. She's using filters, Facebook filters and filters to make an anime version of herself so they don't know what she looks like. It's a very modern solution to secret identities.
It's brilliant, actually.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And this is from someone who doesn't like manga. If you don't know, I'm not a fan of anime. I'm not a fan of manga. Mm-hmm. But I get if I'm writing a teenage girl, they like it, even if I don't. And then the other thing, and again, I'm going to stick to people, I'll give other examples, but I don't like to speak for other people. She's a mid-tech person. Mm-hmm. When in comics have you seen a mid-tech these days? Hold on, wait a minute. It's not Thursday. Correct. I'm just sharing. This is actually Comic Silence Podcast. I just shared it to my audience.
How you doing, Luke? Welcome to the asylum.
She's a mid-tech, so she's really good at building drones and controlling drones. Mm-hmm. And the one like filter thing. She's not Reed Richards. She's not Tony Stark. She's not going to be able to just build a rocket to solve the problem. She's not going to be able to just science her way out of it. And that's so unheard of in comics, right? Like even Cyborg now can do all the. Cyborg used to just do the one thing, but now Cyborg became Iron Man, when the New 52 stuff, getting back to some of those cores of it's okay that your character can't do all these things. Part of that's continuity and part of it's just building that, right? One of the good things about manga that I understand and anime is, the power whip, right? You kind of know early on in an anime, this is the max power. You'll meet that max power guy. So everybody is going to either trying to accelerate to that or will be below that in the stuff. Kind of that same kind of thing. Here's where they're at. They're not going to change that too much to keep it, the flow of it, and to be able to tell unique stories from a modern way.
Yeah, it forces making those limits. It forces the creator to be creative with the stories, because if the character has a certain limit, they need to come with a different ID to overcome that problem that they are facing. So,
and in ways there will be crossovers at some point, correct? For some of these characters. So then I can only imagine the writer's room when you have the different creators kind of having their characters interact with the other characters. What are the limits, or what are the power limits that they're all going to have? And that's so they interact in a way that everybody's happy, fans and creators alike.
Well, first of all, they will have to they will interact only if it fits the story. We don't want to force anything. Travis will tell more about that. But we don't want to force any characters in a story where it doesn't belong. If we have something to tell with that character, we'll bring him in. But things needs to feel natural.
Mm-hmm. And you're both great creators. You've had a lot of experience in making different types of stories and contributing to different types of stories. In your opinion, what makes a great character? What are some of the characters that are, or the attributes that are going to be characters that Summit will be presenting to readers?
I think they have to have flaws. I like the Marvel method. That's why I tend to go to Marvel and DC. And DC with 100% has changed that over the years. But it used to be DC's, they were always the most righteous. They were always the most good. They were always going to do the right thing, blah, 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 blah. Obviously, modern DC is not that. But it's only been about 15, 20 years that that's been the case. So we want characters with flaws. We want them to not be perfect. We want them to make mistakes. We want them to do that. That's so important to life and for telling these stories on making them work. We live in a world where power fantasy is very different, right? The reason why absolute Batman works now is if you came out with regular Batman right now, it wouldn't work. We're not idolizing the rich, right? Back in the day, like being rich was all that mattered. Like if you were rich, oh my God, he's rich. He has all these cars and all these things. And the rich people are going to do what's right. Society has told us the rich people are not going to do what's right, guys. So like, how do we tell these stories? So we got to tell them as a reflection of what's going on here. In Upheaval 2, we deal with the pulse shooting that happened in Orlando. We talk about that being the catalyst for Orlando superheroes, because we want to tell these stories that make them relevant to events that happen now instead of events that may have happened or happened in the future, or to be a reflection of what's going on.
Right. And Jerome, anything to add to that?
No, I think Travis covered it. The relatability of the character is the essence of it all. If you can see yourself and you can understand the motivations of a character, that's what will keep you going and reading more of that character.
Right. Luke is chiming in here. Says Travis isn't reading enough Hellblazer. Is what I hear. Definitely a flawed hero from DC.
Okay, I'm going to bring my nerd thing. If Hellblazer would get the fuck out of DC and go back to Vertigo where he's belonged, I'd read more of it.
You know what? It might happen since Vertigo is getting rebooted, right?
Yeah.
They're launching
and to be fair, the last couple of things have been in the Black Label, and he's kind of back to normal and doing some cool shit. So, Luke, the guy who literally sells his soul to 6 superpowers to keep smoking because he has cancer, I'm going to read that shit all day.
Comics by the Surgeon General right there.
Right.
So we mentioned this earlier. You guys have speaking of blazing, a Kickstarter that is on fire. A few hours in, and needless to say, I would say it's meeting expectations. You may say that it's going above and beyond, but let's take a look at what's going on here. For the Summit Pinnacle #1, a heroic new universe begins.
Are we talking about a dumpster fire or a real fire?
No, we're talking about the good stuff. We're talking about the good stuff.
Okay.
I mean, I like a good dumpster fire, Jerome.
Well, there was, if you like dumpster fire, for those who like dumpster fires, you can read the comments on the CBR the CBR post on Facebook.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was lots of fun.
Yeah, we have a lot of haters. In fact, one of my favorite insults. Can I tell you my favorite insult, Steve?
Oh, please.
When we first launched and said we're going to do a summit, someone said, "Wow, look at this new Mild Storm launch."
Did you say Mild Storm?
Mild Storm, like Wild Storm.
Wow.
Mild Storm.
Okay, and you know what? Before you continue, I'm going to give them props on putting those two words together. Like,
it's so good.
It's pretty good.
That is my unofficial name for our company. It is Mild Storm. I love it.
But here's the thing, though: if they ain't hating, you ain't doing something right.
Yeah.
Right? Because some of the hating is jealousy. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, we must be we're killing it. So
No, we saw a couple of other creators who were in the superhero realm. Who we have no problem with other superhero comic books, who were talking crap in the CBR, wondering why we got an article and their books haven't.
there's only one comment that hurt me. Not me personally, but somebody said that, well, those characters look like they were created by ChatGPT, and I was like, I just replied nope.
Wow.
And the guy was, okay, can you explain if you, instead of just saying no? And I explained that all of it. I mean, the creating process and everything, and that we're doing, like, we're passionate about it, and we're not using AI. So don't try to shame us with using AI. That's not gonna happen. We're all creators in the group are against it. So no, we're not taking this one.
Right.
For sure. Well, let's take a look
And
at
at the end, by the way, at the end, after explaining the whole thing to the guy, he said, "Okay, I'm in," and I saw immediately a new backer. So
Oh, there you go. So you asked for 10K US. You're at 12.2 right now. 226 backers. Just as a note, when Jerome and I were in the green room and we were taking a look at it, there was 222, and now we have 4 backers just in the last maybe 50 minutes. So that's great.
Yeah.
And anytime an indie can get this kind of heat, we're fully indie here at Comics Asylum, and so anytime an indie can get this kind of heat, we are up and jumping up on our chairs. We're doing the Tom Cruise for this, which is great. Congrats. And we got a comment here by Charlie. Congrats for a great start, no matter how mild you are, for sure.
I am gonna get a T-shirt that says "Welcome to the Mildstorm Summit Comics." That guy inspired me. I have never wanted to make comics more than a guy calling our company Mildstorm.
Hey, you know what? Just think of yourself as like spicy mayo, right? Because think of how popular that has become. So you guys are on the right track. That's good. The very fact that someone took the time and the brain power to give you guys a nickname, rock and roll. 1 second. Brian says here, Mildstorm sounds like a new superhero name.
Could be. So let's take a look at this. You got 20.
That would be great. Actually.
Go ahead, Jerome. What'd you say?
No, I said that would be great, just to knock this nail on the head. By the way, we launched yesterday. So if you, for those wondering, so
just over 24 hours, and you've reached your goal. And as someone who's done Kickstarters, it's always nice to see that graph go straight up when you start. Yeah, for sure. So let's take a look at what you got in the campaign. So here's your story. So for decades, superheroes have lived in the sprawling universes owned by massive groups like Marvel, DC, and even Image. Now, indie creators are taking that idea back. The start of Summit Comics is the birth of a new indie superhero universe and the reignition of creator-owned interconnected worlds. So Summit Pinnacle is the first comic in a brand new shared superhero universe for Summit Comics, a collective of proven indie creators joining forces to build something connected, exciting, and truly creator-owned, as reported by Screen Rant, CBR, and Graphic Policy. So you got some good press behind you. Summit Pinnacle is a brand new shared comic universe designed to give readers big stories with zero confusion, which is always great. No decades of back issues and no continuity bloat, just bold, character-driven superhero comics. So you're going to get 120 pages of story in a perfect bound book available with both soft cover and hardcover options. So while I'm going through this, can you speak to the elephant in the room when you're an indie, and that's printing? But you have that all kind of figured out because you've been doing you've been doing Orange Cone for a minute. So any advice to anyone out there who's looking to get their own book as an indie printed?
Yeah. Price check, make sure you get good deals, build strong partnerships. We have some great printer partners, and they're of years of working with them and making sure that they're treated well, referring people, making sure their quality's up, and being forgiving. Mistakes happen in printing all the time. One of the biggest things that I've seen that rookie creators do is they'll have a mistake, and it was their mistake, and they're like, "Why didn't you tell me that?" Well, they do hundreds of comics a day. Like, you were just one customer. They assume you know what you're doing when you send in the files, unless you communicate that. Because I've seen so many creators who, I'll never work with that printer again. And when you tell the story, it's, oh, I sent them the wrong file size. Like,
Yeah, and being able to forgive those mistakes is one thing, and then if you build a relationship with the printer by, instead of jumping from one another each time, maybe you save a few bucks if you go with another one for the next book, but you're creating a relationship by focusing with one and trying to go back with your business each time. You may end up with getting better deals that way.
Right. And so let's take a look at some of the rewards, and you can walk me through this. So we've got the print hardcover, and so this is by Dave Acosta. Dave Acosta, is that the artist for the?
Yeah, you're probably easier to go on the campaign and see it on the right hand side, just because this way
Okay.
would be a little bit weird. Oh, can you move the right hand side? There you go.
There you go.
Looks like you backed that one, so that's why it's topped. Oh no, it's a featured one.
It's featured.
No, it's featured.
Okay. Scroll past that for a minute. Actually, just scroll down. I'll explain the whole thing. Just scroll down a little bit in the middle, and you'll see the 4 covers as like a shot.
I think I just passed it. Is it that one?
No, the middle section. Go back to the middle section. You're in the rewards now. Go to the middle section. It'll just be easier and bigger screen for people to see it.
Got it.
All right, so right there, stop there. So we have 2 soft covers. One is 30, one is 40. First one's by Benjamin Morris. Second one's by Peter Collins. Those are great options for you if you on a budget, just want to get the book, just want to read the story. You're not a collector. Go ahead and buy those. They're great covers. They've got the stuff. Between the 2 of those are the majority of the Pinnacle characters that are out at this time. So whichever cover you prefer is great. So a little bit below that, we have the other 2 covers. We have Dave Acosta, who is the current Thundercats artist. So if you're reading Thundercats from Dynamite, he's the current artist. He did the one on the left. That's our basic cover. And then we have the great and legendary Phil Hester. If you don't know who Phil Hester is, don't back this. Don't back this. Go ahead and buy Green Arrow or anything that Phil Hester has done. Read the what's this character called? I'm struggling here. Fire Breather is one of his. He's got like a goon character, but it's not goon. I can't think of the name of it right now. Anyways, Phil Hester's friggin' talented, amazing guy. We have the great Phil Hester, and what we've done with that cover is very special. So if you buy that, there's only 250 of them, and in it is a plate. And we have in that nameplate is going to be a custom sketch randomly inserted from one of our artists, whether it be someone who's working currently on a cover or Phil Hester himself. So if you back it, you have a chance of getting a Phil Hester. If you don't get a Phil Hester, you're going to get one of our artists with a custom sketch in it. Basically, that cover, whoever it crosses hands with will sign it. So you may get multiple signatures. It's going to be a very cool book to get out and shipped to you.
Very cool.
It's kind of a sample of the 2. And then the other thing is we have a couple of, scroll just a little bit further down, a couple of our add-ons and a couple of stuff. So World of Summit, this is what we were talking about before. We have 3 one-shots, Granite, Noir, and Upheaval. I guess one-shot something. We have Granite number 1, we have Noir number 0, and Upheaval number 1. These are rebranded Summit versions, but you will get new content. So this is not the same book you backed before. Everyone has additional stories. In Granite's case, it's literally half an issue. In Noir and Upheaval, you get a new 4-page story in the back, which is pretty cool.
Very cool. Same creative team as well?
Same creative teams from the originals. Just I think Noir has Brian Wolf doing the art. And then Granite, the extra 20 pages is various. He kind of did anthologies. So it's 6 creators who told Granite stories as backups.
Very cool.
And then the last, so this is the sneak peek. We've been talking about that. You just kind of showed that off. If you want to get that, because that's technically the first appearance of some of these characters, you're more than welcome to get that copy of it. And then we got some metal bookmarks, but that's kind of our reward. We keep it very simple to get people what they want.
Cool. And do you have any stretch goals?
Yeah. So we just announced the first one. The first one is a cover gallery. So we're going to add our 5 colors as a gallery because that wasn't that. We're almost there. I think we need $500. So we're definitely going to hit that one in a day. Yeah. We got to hit, $250. So we're going to be good. The next scratch after that is 14. You get that Summit Founders sticker, which is very cool. So everybody's going to get that. And then we've got some more. Some of them is going to be additional content. Some of them is going to be some digital rewards. It's going to be a mix of all that. So yeah, we've got plans every. I think 1,500 is what we said. We'll have a new stretch goal.
Oh, very cool, very cool. And yeah, so anyone who is joining the stream late, this campaign is on fire. We are at $12,219 pledged out of an ask of 10K. So already 2K over, 226 backers in just over 24 hours. Amazing, not only just for a campaign, but also for an indie book as well too. And there's 28 days to go. So that'll end almost like the last week of February.
Yeah. 26 February 26th.
Yeah. So that's pretty good. You got a lot of time to make even more hay on this as well too. And so I know you said that you have everything planned out and you're pretty much sticking to a framework, but has the success of the launch perhaps tweaked an idea or a change in plans of what you could do that you may not have had as an initial plan?
Nope. I know it sounds like not, but no, but we've been doing this for a long time, as we talked right at the beginning, almost 10 years. So we kind of know what it looks like to be really successful, what it doesn't, right? We kind of know what it looks like. It is better than our expectation, but we've been around long enough to know that the next book, it doesn't mean that you're only as good as your next book, right? You're only as good as your next issue. Yeah. So though this is a screaming success, that doesn't promise the next one. So we need to save the path. We'll have a lot more people knocking at our door. I'll give you one thing. The only thing it may help is we want to get some big name creators involved on some level. So we're going to ask some creators. We're talking to a couple. I can tell you them off air, but I can't tell you in, who we want to do some of this, and showing them a big success like this helps them be more interested. Right. That's really the only change. And it's not like bringing one of their titles over is what we'd like. It's more of a, hey, can you come in and write part of this, or write a 5-pager of our characters, or whatever the case would be. It allows us that opportunity to make that happen.
Yeah, that would be great. And also too, bringing their expertise to some of the storytelling or some of the drawing or whatever is just great cachet for the universe.
Yeah.
Speaking of creators that have left a mark, we're going to move away from Summit for a bit, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention the passing of Sal Buscema, who I guess he passed away at the age of 89, and his birthday was, I think, either yesterday or the day before, but he was working pretty much up until his death. I know that he was working on stuff even like last year or maybe the year before that. And he's one of the artists, longtime Marvel and most of Marvel, but he worked with DC as well too. But his career basically spans my reading career when it comes to reading comics. So he's one of those creators that if you haven't read a book by him, or read a book that he inked or in some way was connected to, if you're of a certain age, it's highly unlikely, because not only was he a great artist, he was an absolute workhorse. And so on Marvel.com, if I can not get the drop down there, it's basically saying paying tribute to Sal Buscema, 1936 to 2026. And it says earlier this month, legendary comic book artist Sal Buscema passed away at the age of 89. Buscema's illustrious career spanned more than 4 decades, penciling and inking the Marvel Universe's most iconic heroes and villains. Joining his brother John, the pair formed an integral family legacy at Marvel Comics. Buscema was born in January 26, 1936 in Brooklyn, New York. And he cites his older brother John's artistic pursuits as a major influence on his career. Now, John is probably known for drawing Conan and working on FF back in the 70s. He worked on FF, I think, in the early 70s to mid 70s, and then Conan into the 80s. But his brother Sal was a workhorse. Did Marvel Team Up, The Incredible Hulk. He had a massive run on The Incredible Hulk, and did worked on the Avengers. ROM Space Knight. I don't know if any of you remember ROM, which was initially a toy in the late 70s, early 80s. And then it was part of the Marvel Universe until they lost the license. But Sal was not only like really fast, working several books a month, but he drew some of the best action that you would have had. And when you're drawing something like the Hulk, no one draws someone getting punched better than Sal Buscema. And so there's just some of the work that he worked on. He was like Captain America and the Falcon. He did some work on the Avengers. Defenders especially. Speaking of getting punched, there's Spidey taking out She-Hulk. And then his later run on Spectacular Spider-Man in the late 80s and going into the 90s is one of the memorable ones. And speaking of ROM, there's ROM Space Knight. Yeah.
Well, remember too, he inked, I don't know if it's in this article, but he inked a lot of Eric Larson's stuff when Eric Larson was doing stuff. So a lot of people know his work. They just don't know his work.
Right. Exactly. And it's incredible because like when you think of like someone like we all love this industry and we all, you know, are in it to various extent in like being a creator or a publisher. But to think that you could do this for 40 years and work on some of the greatest characters ever created, that's a pretty solid run as a creator. Not much more that you can ask for. Is there a Sal book or memory, or if you've run across him at a convention, is there anything that either of you can add?
You know, I went through my book last night, so I have a very good sketchbook. It's probably worth more than my comic collection, which is wild because I've been collecting since I was 12-year-old and hasn't stopped. Like wow. I have every Spider-Man, every X-Men that's come out from that time. So just to give an idea. So it's all there. It's all my thing. And that's not counting how much I spend now as an adult and can afford things. But I thought I had a sketch of him, and I don't. But I remember sitting with him. It was him, Jim Starlin, kind of like an old timers table, right? It was him, Jim Starlin, Walt Simonson. Like they were kind of all in a row. And I just remember talking to them for a real long time about what it was like, how it feels like to do comics, and what it meant to do comics back then. You know, to have to deliver late at night pages. You know, or go over to somebody's house to ink them, right? As they're finishing them to hit deadlines, you know, those are the stories that I remember hearing from Sal. You know, I remember specifically him talking about having, I don't remember who the artist was, but he talked about going through the snow, and he was in a big fight with his wife, but he didn't want to lose his job because that would just make the fight with his wife even worse, right? So he drove and was inking pages on his friends as he was finishing them to get it done so we could do a date night, and just little things like that we just in the modern world we don't think about. I mean, think about faxing pages, right? You'd have to go to like faxing pages, and then someone on the other thing looking at the fax page, you kind of waiting there, and then getting a call saying, hey, I like this, I don't like this, go change those. and then doing that process several hours later. Like, and you had to go somewhere to fax for a little bit. It wasn't something you could do at your house. Like, it's wild
No.
because you didn't have those big machines. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing, like the way technology has changed being a creator. Like I know from the art side, not everyone has originals anymore because a lot of people do it digitally, right?
Mm.
But also too, like there's a lot more leeway in some of the things you can do when you're working digitally because you're like, I make this head, I can make it bigger, I can twist it this way, I can tweak it. Whereas they're on a tight deadline, they're working on the paper, they don't have the technology, as you were saying, Travis, to
Yeah.
like, I'm just gonna fax you this image, or let me take a shot of it with my phone and you can okay it or not. It was like you get the pages and it's like, okay, this is what it is. And a lot of times they hit the mark. Now, don't get me wrong, there are lots of things were changed, and we've had conversations about this on the channel where it's like even the greats would get things redrawn. Jack Kirby had faces and heads redrawn and stuff.
Right.
But this is a machine, and the the people that were at the forefront of it, especially around like Silver Age books being made, it's amazing what they were able to do and how much they were able to produce, and then also have the product be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well said.
Jerome, just speaking about like what you do, could you imagine lettering in the old days and not
No,
having not
no, that
having
would be a
a
nightmare.
digital assist?
No, no, no. I mean, now we have the liberty to just place all the balloons and tails on over the art without risking to ruin the art. But back then, it was an whole other thing. Some would just draw them on the original art. Some others, I think they would just cut and paste it,
Yeah.
on the art. But no, that would be the I know that must have been like really stressful.
So I'm going to start with you, Jerome, and then I'm going to go to Travis. What was it that got you into comics? Is there a book? Is there a time? Is there a family member? Was it like someone gave you a certain book where you're like, this is what I want to do?
No, this is well for me. It was weird because I'm from province of Quebec, and I used to live in a region where well no one speaks English, and the availability of comic books were very limited. So once in a while, there's no option for reading continuous book. Once in a while, we got at the convenience store Punisher book, and a month later, there's a Spider-Man book, and they were just distributed randomly. What the guy had is in his truck, and was just dropping some of them once in a while. But I was always they always caught my eye. I was drawn to them, so I started reading them, and then a cousin of mine brought me. He was near Quebec City, and he brought me to a comic book store over to Quebec City, and that's why I knew there was more to that universe, and it was like just before Image and Spawn and the Image came out and all that stuff. So he taught me a lot. My cousin taught me a lot about comics. Um, so I read them for a little bit, and unlike Travis and like most of people our age, I stopped reading them at some point.
I did
But
not. I'm a quitter, unlike you.
but I but I but I kept them. I always kept them. Uh, so I still have my Spawn number one from
Nice.
back then. Um, but yeah, I came
True,
to
everybody has a Spawn number one. That's not very impressive.
yeah, sure. But but some bought it later on. Mine is my
Right.
original reading copy. Anyways, I got back to them later on as an adult, and at some point I was just wondering what I could do to be part of that world because as a graphic designer, I knew I could start doing something. I used to draw as a kid, not as much as an adult, and I was not patient enough to pursue. But then I started coloring a little bit, and I took some coloring lessons. Uh, I was good, but not fast enough for me. But then lettering was a better fit for me, so that's why I moved to lettering. And yeah, so and Travis was like one of the first person that I hooked up with on Facebook for the first one of the first book I lettered, and it's been 10 years apparently.
And the rest, as they say, is history, right?
Yeah,
Do you remember your first book that you lettered?
with Travis it was Broke Down and Four Dead Bodies.
Hmm.
Before that, what was it called? Don't remember the name. The company or the concept was called the reality, but I don't remember the exact name of the book. And I did some anthologies, some short stories as well, just to get my hands on to try to build a portfolio. Oh, and of course, I one of the first anthology I worked on was Telos
Oh,
for the Mike Wirango tribute.
yeah, very cool.
Which is probably why I hired him, because I was a huge Telos fan. I was just like, man, I got to hire this guy. He worked at Telos.
And
Still don't
Travis,
own that book. I still don't. I still need to find a copy of that.
and then you can get Jerome to sign it.
Right, I will.
Yeah. And Travis, what's your origin story? What was what got you into comics? What then led you to become a publisher and a writer?
Sure. So my first comic book was a Spectacular Spider-Man 116. That is a black suit Spider-Man from 1996 with Sabretooth on the cover.
I remember the cover.
Yeah, it's a great cover. I was super excited about this really cool Spider-Man villain that is not a Spider-Man villain. Very confusing. But no, I don't know if it was in Canada, but in the U.S., your kids would bring home a magazine subscription thing. You'd kind of fill it out and you'd click a couple of magazines and then they'd get shipped to you. I gave that to my grandmother, and my grandmother was like, "What magazine would you like?" And I was like, "What?" And I knew Spider-Man. I watched Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Everyone knows Spider-Man, even if you've never read a comic. So I wanted that. And from then on, I was reading Spider-Man. I think I went from Spectacular to Amazing because I learned, the Amazing is the one you're supposed to read. You're not supposed to read Spectacular. Nobody reads that. But I went
I read
from stuff. I went to, 90s X-Men was super, super big for me. Image Comics Boom was really big for me. And I am from where the Ninja Turtles are from. So I'm from Dover. I'm from Rochester, New Hampshire. I think I told you this last time. So for me, Turtles were such a big everywhere. New Hampshire boys making it, So indie comics was my thing. I actually think, reflecting on it, I always wanted to work in comics. I just didn't know how. So I decided to be a filmmaker instead, and really focusing on the writing aspect. So I wanted to be a film writer. Went out to college in Florida. When I went to MegaCon, figured out how to write some books, wrote a couple of anthology pieces in 2002. And then I got someone pregnant, like you do, just when you're bored, you decide to have a kid. So I gave up comics for a bit to be a dad. Still reading them, of course, but not writing them. And then I met my beautiful wife, and I had a comic. It was called Broke Down in Four Dead Bodies. It was in a Google Drive, and I said, "Hey, honey, look at this! Look at this comic that I created." And she's like, I had 2 issues at the time that were fully drawn, and Jerome and I made it into 1 issue, one good issue, and cut some stuff, but it was 2 at the time. And she's like, "You have 2 issues of a comic that are fully drawn, colored, everything,
Paid for,
and you've never done anything with it?" She's like, "That's really dumb." And I didn't have anything, and I had backed Kickstarter, so it's not like I wasn't aware that there was a way to do this. I just had never put the 2 to 2 together, and then my wife was just like, "That's really dumb." So I decided I was going to make one, and then I made another one, And then I made another one, and now that's all I do. That's my job.
Then we made an anthology.
And then I made an anthology. And then I made another one. And currently I have a superhero one. I'm gonna make another one, and we're gonna make books of the ones that we made before. It's gonna be fun, and I'm not gonna not make them until I die. And people are flying me places, like, and paying for it, and it's a very different world. And then Marvel still won't reply to my emails. It's very confusing, but it's gonna work out.
Yeah, I think for the three of us and for anyone else that's in this, it's in our blood, right? It's something that is funny because I played hockey last night, a very Canadian thing to do. So I was playing hockey last night, and we were talking about, because we had massive storm here in Southern Ontario, because I live in Toronto, and normally it's Jerome and his provincial mates that we're looking at them in awe, going, "Oh my God, I can't believe they got hammered again." Because in Quebec, they normally get crazy snow or ice storms or something, right? Yeah. And we got almost 2 feet of snow. I think we got just under 60 centimeters, which would have been 24 inches or whatever. And so I was saying that the snow was so high that it reminded me of when I was a kid. And I remember my buddy Dave, we're still friends. We took our Star Wars action figures out into the snow, and we would play Empire Strikes Back, right? And you think back of like how you have that need for getting your imagination going, and like the comics that I would have bought or my cousins would have had, and I would have gone to their house and read them. It inspired me to make them. And even though, especially back then, there was no outlet for it other than like maybe showing your other buddies who like comics, hey, look what I drew. Right. And Travis, you're absolutely fortunate that you met someone who like valued what you had done beforehand. Because normally it's like, oh, that's cool, put that aside, let's, have another pursuit. But saw the value and also the talent in your creativity that gave you that little push to go ahead. And I think for a lot of indie creators, or people who are on the cusp of being an indie creator, it's that figuring out, they're like just stages. I used to think the hardest part was making it, right? Was drawing it or writing it. And then you get to the point where like, you know what? You can get it done because you can find someone to draw it if you can't draw it. And if you can write it and you can draw it, you can do both. And then you make connections. You have more conventions that you can go to. You meet someone like Jerome who can help you with the production side, the lettering. You can find colorists. But then it's like, how do you get it out there? Right? And some people only have the capacity to imagine or act on that notion of making it and getting it printed. Then it's like, how do I get it to the masses? And along the way, there's always someone to nudge you because you think you've hit the wall.
Yeah.
But those who don't have your journey or are, let's just say, shackled by your own experiences, they're like, well, why can't you do that? Just put the rest out there. And then it's just a matter of figuring it out.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, there's a cheat code for comics. If anybody wants to do comics and you want to get to level, you want to work Marvel DT, I'll tell you what. Invest make one thing now, and invest the next 3 to 5 years in going to every major convention and making yourself poor, because you're going to make the friends and the connections to get you to where you need to go. You can do that, or you can just put out more work and just hope that they make it. And eventually you become to the point of you don't care if they find you or not, because you're doing what you love and you found a fan base.
Yeah, and I think that's the important part, is finding that fan base, nurturing that fan base. The one thing with the Kickstarters that people don't realize is that's your fan base.
Right.
And the fact that you're able, like with Orange Cone, and now with Summit, you're able to kind of feed the beast, so to speak. Because a lot of times you'll make something and that creator disappears. Like they're gone. And why are they disappearing? They might be trying to recoup some cash. They're trying to recharge their batteries, or they're working on the next thing, which takes time.
Right.
But the fact that you're always in the public eye, you're always engaging with your audience. Your social media game is quite good. and some of the stuff that I've seen on Blue Sky promoting Summit shows you that you're out there. That's what then allows you to build on each successive release.
Yeah, and it's also about surrounding yourself with the right people. There are things that I can do that Travis can, and there are things that he can do that I absolutely cannot do. So, and like, and same thing with Summit. We have some people who would not necessarily go on and create their own, do their own Kickstarter, or are afraid to do it, but being part of Summit helps them to tell the story they want to tell.
Well, and that's what we need, right? And that's why Summit works. That's why Orange Cone works. Is everyone has ideas and plans, and some people need to go, I've done this. Here's how it works, and tell you how it exactly works. Some people can't do that, and then some people can do risks. Like there is people who don't do Kickstarter who do indie comics off of their website, and they make just as much as Kickstarter every month. I don't know how to do that, but I know it's possible. Right. So it's just figuring out what ideas work, what ones are best. When it comes to anthologies, I'm very good at that. So I can tell you what's going to work, what's not going to work, and how we don't get screwed and how we make money. But I can't tell you how Charlie Stickney gets 600 backers on White Ash. I can't tell you. He's amazing talent. I know some of it's art. I know some of it's writing. It's just different. It's just finding what you can do best and trying to expand your network from that.
Yeah, totally. Brian Manel says, in many walks of life, it's much harder to try and do everything on your own. Yeah, and in some cases, you sometimes have to do the thing on your own at first, because finding someone to share the vision right off the bat can be hard. Once you do it, people will then go, oh, yeah, I like what you did, and then join along. It's like collecting your form of the Avengers in a way, right? Yeah. Because it's sometimes it's hard for people to visualize something that doesn't exist, and it's only until they see what you've done, and they either like it or see what kind of success you're able to kind of garner, that they're like, oh yeah, I'm in. And with that, and with 10 years under your belt, what's one of the crazy stories, if you can relate it to being a creator and doing the stuff that you've been doing? What's one of the craziest things that's happened to you guys, either in production or in just creating comics in general?
We have a lot, and it's 9. I know we keep saying 10, but it's 9. I want to make sure that we're not that old yet. We're gonna 10 years. We're gonna make it. We're not.
We'll get there. What the craziest thing? I mean, well, probably doing conventions. That alone is crazy for me, because I'm not this seller type of guy. I'm not a car seller. I mean, so going out there and hey, come visit us, come check our booth, and come check our books, the stories that we're doing, takes a lot for me. So that's something that takes me out of my comfort zone every time. But I'm happy to do it. I'm glad to do it to do that part, to put our books in the world and gain new readers, and it works.
But it's what I think works for you, Jerome, too, is I think not everyone values the letterer. They feel them expendable, and Jerome is just so much part of our copy. Not to break stuff, but Jerome goes, hey, I need these copies of books. I open up a box, pay the Canadian shipping, and I ship them the books. Right. Because he is so important to what we do. He's the only standard besides Heather and myself that is there. So if he wants whatever book he wants, if I have a copy, it's now going to Canada, and he's going to get it to be able to sell it. To do that, and I find not a lot of people treat their letterers that way. I was not aware of that.
Yeah. the letterer is like, if it's a band, the letterer isn't even the drummer. Like the colorist might be the drummer, the letterer might be the roadie or something. Lead singer is the artist, and maybe the guitarist is the writer, or vice versa, depending. But it's really interesting, and it's really, this is the thing that I've learned. And Travis, I'll let you answer the question in a bit. Is it's easy to take for granted every aspect of comic book creation until you're waiting for that aspect to be finished, that's so you can publish it. Right. So you're like, it's just the lettering. But if you're not getting the lettering in, then you're like, and then when it doesn't look right, or things would be like, you only notice like how integral they are. And so it's kind of like in film, you take sound for granted, but sound design is huge in things like horror.
Yeah.
Right. And Brian, you might be right. Maybe letterer is music engineer, right?
I would say bassman.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I used to play bass.
That works.
And I think bassman fits more.
Yeah.
But more of the bass that's not needed on every song, right?
Exactly. Some bass line are pretty standard and pretty basic, but sometimes you need some groove.
Yes.
And I need to provide that groove once in a while.
Well, and I challenge him. Granted State Punk is a very hard book to letter. And what I love about
the first
it
one was very challenging.
It's teaching, it's making it part of the art process and making it important, which I think is going to pay off for me in the future. Is going, hey, this book is written where all of us get to show our art. I get to show my writing, the artist gets to show his stuff, and Jerome gets to show his stuff. And I'm putting that in the book as it's necessary to make this book work. This book does not work if everyone's not firing on all the cylinders.
Got it. For sure. And getting back to a crazy story.
Sure.
Anything you can share?
Oh, I've got tons I could share. I could talk about Dog Days. That's an Easter egg that I'm not going to share. I could talk, which is a book. If people know me, I could talk about the
we
first.
We had a fun adventure at MegaCon.
Yeah, the Granite State Punk Tour. That's another option.
With the punkified version of this, the punkified CGC.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we could tell that. We could also talk about Baltimore. We've been nominated for a Ringo a couple times. So Jerome went down once. I went down once. So we've had a lot of great stories. But you know what? I'm going to share one that only Jerome knows. I haven't shared this publicly, but I'll share something. It's not really a story. It's just where these things can go and stuff. So we are currently finishing up a deal to get our Cthulhu books published in Italian. So they're gonna redo it. Probably get Jerome to letter it. It hasn't been 100%, but it's not really a story there. But I think it's important that your little Kickstarters matter and someone's paying attention, man. We've done amazing things. For people who've been following my career, I have yelled at people on the internet for screwing people over. I've gotten fights with other creators. I have been in the highs of bringing our whole team. We had our whole Granite State team in MegaCon. We did a tour to comic stores. We made a punkified version that we destroyed and tried to CGC it. We have gone to Baltimore and kind of owned and went to the Ringos. We lost the Ringos, but we made it to the room. I'm getting flown at the cons right now. And Jerome, as a letterer, is a guest at cons.
Nice.
Right? That is so rare. So to tell one story would be a disservice to our whole career. But I will tell you, the new story is going overseas is so exciting that they value our book and want it over there, which is really cool. We haven't told anybody besides the house. That's exclusive to you, Steve.
Oh, honored to be able to tell that story.
I have a small story from Baltimore. Before the Ringos, there's a get together at the bar at the hotel where the Ringos are happening, and everybody's there, and we're at the table with a few creators. And at one point, Travis goes away. We lose Travis, and he comes back and says, "Hey everyone, I want you to meet Mr. Brian Michael Bendis." Because of course, Travis knows Brian Michael Bendis.
I do know Brian Michael Bendis.
Nice.
I can tell that story. So Brian, I am an original Brian Michael Bendis fan, not a Ultimate Spider-Man fan. I am a Jinx Goldfish Fire. What is it? What's the other? Fire. It's Fire. I'm trying to add a second thing to it. It's Fire. It's just called Fire. I would pen pal him and do stuff, and I would send him messages and email on his forums. And I was working at McDonald's as a 17-year-old kid, and I stole the hash brown stickers, a tray of the hash brown stickers that you pull off for Monopoly.
Right.
And I mailed them to him, and he remembers that. Because, I mean, no one's going to do that. Like, but he said, I like McDonald's, and I would like a gift. And so I did, and I sent it to him. So I've known Brian Michael Bendis for years. Again, he doesn't remember me when he sees me. I have to tell the story to remind him, but he knows and respects me. But yeah, man, like if you stick around here, it's so crazy. Like even bring in Baltimore. It's my favorite con. Like I was talking to the publisher of Mad Cave this year about a possible deal. It didn't work out, but like it was a really good, positive talk. And then Ron Mars interrupts me and says, "Hey, Travis, I got that email the other day.
Wow.
And I'm going to look into that con. I'll see if I can go with you," and walks off. And I was like, that's Ron Mars. I'm talking like, what is my life? Right? I am currently in an email thread talking to Dan. I can't think of his last name. Dan, the creator of Darkhawk, Dan Foger. I can't say his last name.
Oh, yes.
Figueroa. I don't know.
Danny Fingeroff.
Yeah, Fingeroff.
Yeah.
I am in an email chain trying to get him to do some stuff with us for one of our stuff. I won't say what book, but for doing stuff. Like it's wild, my life. And
That's pretty cool.
I don't get to take it for granted enough. And, you know, one of the things going back to Jerome, what's really important is surrounding yourself by good people. You know, I've been in the position that I am because people know and trust me. So if they have a good contact, they will give that contract to me. Right. And we, as Jerome and stuff, there's been people who've gone to Jerome, "Hey, I want to work with Travis. I can't get through to Travis," because I get 20 to 30 messages a day from random creators who want help and guide. And I reply to as many as I can, but it's really tough. But they can go to Jerome, and Jerome can go, "Hey, this guy wants it. Can you make sure we pay attention and get him into stuff?" Jerome wanted to make a book. We made Holiday Spirits. It's now one of our bigger titles. You know, it's about building the right communities. Adam used to work for that's why we're getting all these cool articles everywhere. So it's good.
Very cool. Very cool. And John Westhoff says, "Is this a Magic the Gathering?"
I'm ready, John. Whenever you want to talk about Magic the Gathering, I'm ready. Ever since I got Spider-Man and superheroes, I'm in.
Yeah, that's true. I think I saw those cards last year, and they kind of were like, they look kind of cool.
Yeah. So, Steve, some advice, because I jumped in. I hadn't played Magic since Ice Age, which is like...
I haven't, so anything you tell me will be new.
You haven't played it all? All right.
Never. I don't know the game.
Well, then you want to appreciate it. You want to appreciate the story.
For anyone who is a gathering...
Magic is normally really expensive, but they hated Spider-Man so much that it's not. And it makes me happy and them very mad.
Got it. Got it. So can you get in on the Spidey cards reasonably cheap, or are they now expensive too?
No, you can get them really, really cheap now. But what I would wait, in June, they come out with Marvel Superheroes, which is going to have all the superheroes. Okay. And they have a lot of really good things for beginners. So there's a beginner's box. I would get one of those. Do you play board games?
Not recently, unless it's a family thing.
Yeah. But you could buy like the beginner's box, and you could just play with your family. Like it's kind of like owning a board game. Okay. That stuff doesn't exist for Spider-Man, but it will exist for the Marvel superheroes. Okay. There you go, John. There's your Magic the Gathering talk.
Hold on a second. Brian wants to know, is the Italian Spider-Man one of the cards?
I got to look him up because I don't remember the Italian. Oh, I don't. Maybe. Hold on. Give me a sec. Literally got it here. I'll look it up real quick. Keep talking about something else.
Yeah, no worries. So let's go back because we've got a little bit of time left. Let's go back to the PDF, not the PDF, but to the Kickstarter, just to remind everybody of what you've got kicking
Quite
there.
weird.
Yeah. So it has gone up since we started. It's actually since we last checked, we're now to 228. So you gained 2 more backers, and you're at 12,374. So things are climbing. Hugely successful. If you're tuning in and you love indie books and you want to support indie creators, and you know that Comics Asylum is we are friends to indie. Please check this out. Back them. I know that Jerome and Travis do good work, and you have seen throughout the stream what they've got cooking, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. It's always exciting when we get a new player into the indie space, and when you're able to like kind of service all of fandom, because we're kind of like funneled for Marvel and DC if you're doing comics.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why Invincible works so well, right? Because we're hungry as a public for that kind of a story that doesn't necessarily have to be something that takes place in Gotham or Metropolis. And so when you can get a new universe that you can hop in, not be encumbered by continuity, and just take it for what it is, then it's a perfect opportunity to get new stories, learn about new creators, and enjoy new heroes.
Yeah, absolutely. And to answer Brian's thing, I forgot who Italian Spider-Man was, so no, but I can give you Spidey India. That's the best I got. So
hold on a second. Let me give you the solo. There you go.
Yeah, I can give you Spidey India. So he looks pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty good.
So we're $126 away from the first stretch goal.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. And you're not even 36, maybe close to 36 hours in at this point?
No, we're not even that.
We launched at what, 9 a.m. yesterday?
9 a.m. yesterday. Oh, I guess you're probably right. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, I guess 34-ish would be probably right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But those are great numbers. Those
are numbers that are not seen in the superhero category. In superheroes, like on Kickstarter, you see them. You know, we do these numbers in Cthulhu's. But our last campaign, Holiday Spirits, only got to 11 at the whole campaign, right? And that has 5 volumes with it.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And I just want to go, in case people are coming in late, I want to go to what you're offering as well. And let's go back to what you get. So we have the softcover A by Benjamin Morse. And then we have softcover B by Pete Collins. So we have those 2 beautiful covers. And then
those are regular Summit artists as well.
Those are Summit creators, so they both have a book in it. So
very cool.
Neil Glyft is Ben Morris, and Diabloist is Pete Collins.
Very cool. And then hardcover A is Dave Acosta, and then the legendary Phil Hester is on hardcover B.
Correct. And Dave Acosta, as I said earlier, is the current Thundercats artist for Dynamite.
Very cool. And
it's kind of just showing what they would look like.
Right, as examples, absolutely. So you're also saying that they're book plates, and those are by artists Brian Wolf, Pete Collins, Marcus Jimenez, Elias Gambit, Melendez, and even Phil Hester himself. So Correct. 4 lucky purchasers will be given an original Hester sketch.
Correct. Yeah, and even like I'll do some sketches. We have some other people who will do some sketches, but I am even going to bring these to cons in the couple of months that we have until we have to fill them. And I'm going to call in all my favors. And I know some pros. So I'm going to ask some pros to do some Summit head sketches for me that will be in that. And we're going to, when we ship them out, we're going to give a list. And we'll, it's going to be random what people get. But yeah, I'm going to give a list of how many Phil Hesters, how many this, how many that, so people can know their rarities and all that. We really want it to be a very special thing. The other thing we're going to do too is that particular book, if it crosses anybody's hand for whatever reason, it needs to be signed. So, for instance, if I have to ship it to an artist to do their sketch, I'm going to sign it, that sketch artist, so it's going to be signed by whoever it goes across.
No, that's a great idea. Very cool. Very cool. Other than your campaign and what you got going on with Orange Cone, now is there anything with Orange Cone that's going to be coming out or that you have that you can announce while Pinnacle and Summit are going to be active as well too?
We're talking about that right now. So we have a couple of books that are a little delayed because of Christmas and personal stuff. So we have Cthulhu Invades Oz is our next Kickstarter, maybe.
Nice.
But it's ready to. The Kickstarter is ready to go. We just have we want to get the digital out of Cthulhu Invades Fairy Tales 2. It's already done. It's already lettered. We just need the editor to go through it and make sure everything's good. But it's done. It's just not done enough to send it to backers because we care about our quality. So we make sure it's right. We make sure it's done.
Everything is reviewed. Once we finish the book, everything is reviewed by Heather, Travis's wife, and she goes through the book from cover to cover multiple times to make sure that
she'll do it every time. So if Jerome has a letter and edit on the fourth story, she will still go through because sometimes when Jerome opened the file, he may have accidentally moved his mouse and moved a box. It may have, and it's happened before.
It's
not Jerome's fault. It just happens. And she makes sure that she checks that every time. So little things like that to make sure that we've got that. We've also got Voodoo Nations coming out, our Voodoo Nations trade. We've also got the Granite State Punk trade. And we've got an Orange Cone annual that we have coming out. So that Orange Cone annual is featuring some stories and characters that we haven't had a chance to really promote in a bit. So we've got Expired that's been kind of on the back burner. We've got Broke Down in 4 Dead Bodies, which we didn't put out a book last year for. Or did we? I don't know when Canyon City was. Canyon City last year? I don't know when Canyon City was. At some point. They all blend together. We've got Pop Van Winkle, which I know has been a couple of years. And then we have an upheaval story because even though Summit has upheaval, we still have stories that we want to put other places. So it'll be very cool. And we're going to put that out. So that's kind of our next 4 books. What order they come out in, that remains to be seen.
Very cool. Jerome, do you ever have, because you're sometimes, I guess, the last part of the process, right? So I'm assuming the writing is first, then the art, colors, and then lettering. Are there any times where like you might see something in an issue and then you're like, okay, I know what's coming next, where you would say, hey guys, I'm thinking of doing this, or maybe we can do this, that then you kind of influence what happens where you're almost at the beginning of the process? Is there ever a time like that happens?
Does it happen? Not sure. Well, we exchange a lot of messages, Travis and I. So sometimes he sends me an image. Sometimes with a short message, what do you think? Or sometimes just a random image. And I don't know what it's for, but I'm kidding. But we exchanged a lot of messages, and sometimes he asks me, "What do you think? What should we do with that? Is the color good or?" So we talk a lot.
Our relationship is very funny. So I'll go sometimes a week without talking to Jerome at all, and then I want his whole day. It's really tough. And then I will send him things that I thought we talked about, but he has no idea we're doing. So
sometimes I think that that Travis sees our relationship through Tinder. So sometimes he's just ghosting me. I messaged him and he's just ghosting me for a while. but I'm used to it now.
Yeah. Well, and I'll send him things of like, hey, here's this. He's like, what is this for? And I'm like, oh, for this thing. And he's like, what is that thing? Oh yeah, this thing we're doing. Here you go, your letter next week.
We have a running joke. Once in a while, I ask him to show me the whiteboard, because he has a whiteboard in his office where with all the books or the things that he's planning and for the year, and all the things that we have coming up. Sometimes just message it, I need a whiteboard update.
Is it almost like the equivalent of the crime scene board in like those FBI movies?
Looks a lot like that,
right?
Yeah, but that thing, I mean,
yeah, the whiteboard has
it's a guideline, but it's very loose.
Yeah, it has schedules and dates of when I want things to be released, but it's always behind. It has scripts that are due. It has scripts that are like in my head that I'm going to write. So like it'll just be random terms for Jerome. He's like, what is that? And then it has little things like, we need more money. Like just like
that's the thing that I like to see on that board. But no, but that shows the flexibility of how we can do our thing. Because sometimes Travis wants to do a certain book. Let's say we want to do Grand Estate Punk for a certain month, but Patrick the artist got another gig that he has to finish, and for some reasons this one is late or whatever. But we have another book that we can just move faster and just put Grand Estate Punk for the next release instead of for the second next release instead of the next one. But just it's a very loose guideline, but well, at least we know what's there.
What's the plan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have a communication shorthand, so that's good. Well, after as many years of working together, just how it is.
Well, we're hoping the goal this year was to go to Canada, and I still want to do that, but this Italian thing got us kind of messed up, so we may not make it to there, but we want to go to Jerome's. He's come over the border. I understand why anybody in Canada wouldn't want to come to America right now. I completely understand and respect those decisions. I also wouldn't. So we're trying to figure it out. So I'm hoping to get and I still think we may do it this year. So Jerome's got to let us know when some cons are, but hopefully we'll come up there. And I so look forward to just standing there as he's talking French and me not knowing the fuck's going on. Because I'm the salesman. So like, how do I sell this book?
Yeah, well,
I'll be like, we? We?
You'll see how confused it can be as well. So because Steve is used to it, but Montreal is weird because of the double language. So sometimes I'm doing my sales pitch in English, and at some point I'm always with my friend Etienne, and at some point I asked something to Etienne, and the person in front of me said, "Oh, we can continue in French." Okay, cool. So it's always very confusing in that way.
Yeah, it can be really fluid too, because I think this is maybe a thing that's more to Montreal and where there's so much English there that you might get a conversation that's 80%, 90% French, but then they'll use an English phrase just because it's easier or whatever, right? And then you keep going. But if you're not used to hearing, you're like, that was
But at the convention, they're people are kind of expecting that you'll answer them in English because they see that the books are in English. So.
Yeah. But you'll have fun, and especially if you come to Toronto. Toronto's fun. Montreal's way more fun. The food's better.
We're gonna do one. Jerome's just gonna give me some dates, and I assume that we could be invited as a guest. I think I've got enough creds. I don't think they're going to like pay for me to fly there or anything, but I think they'll let me have a table.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, well, it'll be good to have you. And the cons here, the con scene here it's pretty dynamic. Toronto and Montreal can be pretty full. I think Toronto's maybe the third largest, like Fan Expo. I might
Right.
in August, late August, early September, just before Labor Day. I think it's the third largest behind New York and San Diego. So,
well, I got to talk to Chip. You know, the only way I can see Chip, he won't come to America, so I guess I got to go there. He's writing Captain America, but won't come down to talk to us. Whatever, man.
yeah,
What the hell?
it's like when you think of like how bizarre the universe is right now. A Canadian is writing Captain America, and he won't go to America. So it's kind of
Right.
interesting.
It's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, it's perfect for our time.
But again, I wouldn't come here either, so I'm on Chip's side.
I don't know. I don't know if Chip ever. Do you know if he ever did the Montreal Comic Con?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
Well, Chip hasn't done cons for a few
In a
years.
long- in
Like
a
he
long
didn't do
time.
cons for a little bit, and now he's, I think, end of last year, like mid last year, is when he started coming back to cons. So he may. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him this year, but he hadn't done cons in like 3 or 4 years.
No.
But Toronto's one is bigger. It's a 4-day con, like MegaCon.
Mhm. Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, you guys got Revolution, right? Revolution cons. That's a great company.
No, I don't think we do. I don't think we do. No. Yeah, what cons do they put on?
Really good cons. I've only done one because I only came to Florida once, but they do count. They absolutely do Canada, but it's the other side of Canada. It's the Vancouver side.
Okay.
But they're California based, but they're really, really nice. And one of the things that they do is they want creators, they mix them up. Like I was sitting next to Donny Cates,
Oh,
the
cool.
other con, like not next to him, but he was behind me. So
Mhm.
like he was writing Guardians of the Galaxy, and I was just like at the time, and it's very cool. So
Yeah.
so I'd like to go to some of their cons again. But yeah, I think they're absolutely in Canada, but it's more the Vancouver area.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's why I don't know him.
Mhm. Cool. So before we wrap up, one last time, we are going to take a look at the campaign, see if we can get a couple more backers. Let's go back to the top. So we have one more backer, which is great.
Nice.
We're now at 12,412. Thanks everyone who is tuning in, and backing the campaign. You will not be disappointed. You're getting 120 pages. Am I right on that one, fellas? 120
that's
pages.
the minimum. It'll be more than that, but that's the minimum you'll get. Yeah, we're already at 120 without adding anything, so you're
Sweet.
good.
So that's 120 minimum. Brian he's hilarious. A very mild 12,412.
It's the mildest of storms.
And
29 backers. But
how many stories do we have, Travis? 19, I think. 19, 20?
Oh, I don't know that answer. To be honest, I have no idea. But
I think it's 9. Well, maybe with the 2-pager that you with the villain that you created.
yeah, there's 3. Yeah, there's at least 19. Yeah, there's a lot.
Wow. So that's 19 characters as well.
Yeah.
So each story is focused on one character. So
that's a loaded product that everyone's going to be getting. Over 120 pages, 19 stories, at least 19 characters, as well as all of them making, if not first appearances, then continuing their appearances from out of Orange Cone. And you're going to see some new villains as well, too. So if you love indie books and if you love comics, this is the campaign for you, for sure.
Can I ask you one question before we leave, Steve?
Absolutely.
Why is your stuff in English? Why do you have not Canadian prices on your Kickstarter? It's very impressive. I like it.
because
I've been on Canadian shows before, and I'm just like, we don't have that much. What are you talking about?
because I think the last two interviews I had that were guests that were doing Kickstarters, they were in the US.
Oh, okay. You adjust it.
And so I adjusted it, and then when we did ours for Atrium, we kept it in US, so I haven't changed it. And so yes, because I can't remember who I was talking to.
It was me. I told you
You
that
were making fun of the fact
you'll
that
do more money. You'll make more. And was I right?
Yeah, we did well. Yeah, we did more money, but also you're making fun of the fact that our funny colored money, because we have the purple 10s and all that kind of stuff.
It's very confusing. I mean, the Queen's
much easier, actually.
The Queen's dead. Get over it, guys. Come on.
Yeah. She's not on too much anymore. But the one for like when I don't know if it's like with you, Jerome. I actually have to look at my U.S. money when I'm like giving it out, because I'm like, is that a 5? Is that a 20? Is that a 10? Yeah. For us, it's like one less brain cell that I have to use because I just look at the colors.
Yeah.
We don't believe in cash in America, so we're fine.
Yeah. If you give me a red dollar bill, I know I'm gonna have issues to change it somewhere.
If you get in Canada, if you get a red or brown bill, you're like, I gotta go get change. I gotta go. Lots of 5s,
50s and 100s.
Yeah, definitely. So, gentlemen, I just want to thank you for coming by and spending some time with us, introducing us to Summit Comics and this brand new universe that we have in store. The Kickstarter is on fire, and thanks to everyone who has tuned in and has backed it. And for anyone that is interested and hasn't made up their mind yet, head on over to Kickstarter, smash it. Make sure that you get either a hard copy or a soft copy. And I'm not quite sure, are there digital versions as well on the campaign, or will that be for the store?
Yeah, absolutely. There's digital and physical copies. Yep.
We always do.
All right. Sounds perfect. All right, gentlemen, I want to say thank you for joining us. Best of luck for the next 28 days and beyond. And I look forward to the next time we can sit down and chat. I had a blast.
Thank you, Steve.
Same with you.
All right. Night, everybody.